The female bass are gone. They're not on the bed, they're not chasing, and they're only feeding opportunely, not heavy. But I got just the thing for them. So the female bass have pulled off the beds. They're out here suspended, maybe roaming a little bit, and they're not super active. But they are feeding on those big shad that are getting ready to pull up and spawn. And with this new head and its bigger hook, it lets you fish those big 5, 6, and 7-inch shad imitating baits without having to worry about short strikes or missed bass. Dirty Jigs just came out with a new Guppy Head with a bigger hook in it. This little head has a 5/0 hook in it, which means you can now fish some of those bigger swim baits and some of those bigger shad imitation baits, like the 5.2-inch drift fry from Jackal Baits. Some of my favorite baits to fish on it is the Damiki armor shad in the 5-inch version, or these from Raid Japan, the Super Fish Roller 6.5-inch. And last but not least, this head is perfect for the new Damiki Armor Shad Fat. So I picked up some of these Guppy Heads for just that reason, for using it on those bigger shad imitation minnow style baits. And I picked up 3 different sizes and I wanted to check out the different colors that they come in. So this is the 1/4 ounce. It's probably going to be the one that I use the most. Now that's one thing that I can tell you about any bait. The more plastic in it, to get it a little bit deeper, the more weight you're going to use. If you want to keep it up a little bit shallower, you go with a lighter weight, because generally the plastic is a little more buoyant in these baits. So to get them down and to get them to hover at that precise depth range, you want to make sure you're getting the weight to bait size ratio. One of the things that always drove me crazy about these baits and about a lot of the heads, the ball heads, is that not a lot of them had a 5/0 hook. So you throw something like that 6/0 fish roller and that hook doesn't come very far back, you're gonna miss a lot of bites because they're gonna hit right in the middle, and it's almost always gonna be short of where the hook comes out of the head. That's what's great about these. The 1/4 ounce is probably my favorite, like I said, but this is a 1/4 ounce 5/0. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna call this naked because I don't know what the colors are. I'm gonna guess at some of them. Now, this is probably my go-to color, just my all-around color. You can do a lot of stuff with it. You can see the hook keeper on it. Probably gonna wanna put a little bit of glue on there, but that's a pretty good hook keeper. I like how they use the lead down the shank of the hook so that the head is smaller. I also like the eyes in these heads. Now, like I said, I don't know what color this is. It's kind of a blue-gray back. I'm gonna call it a shad pattern, and great looking paint jobs on these baits. And again, you know, the 5/0 hook and the hook keeper. But this is a 3/8 ounce Guppy Head. And last but not least, I'm gonna call this Tennessee Shad because it's got a green back. And you know, what I also love about this is they actually have a nice flat bottom, 90-degree line tie, and that little mouth like sled. So you can even kind of run these on the bottom. Say you're throwing that little minnow bait, you can run that on the bottom and it'll roll up and stand up for you. So we're going to tie on the 1/4 ounce head. I'm going to show you how to rig this in 3 of the different baits. Now, I am going to tie this up with an actual non-slip loop knot. So this is going to be a little different than the good old Pizzatine knot that I normally show you. So you come through the eye one time, but then you double your line over. Wrap it about 4 to 5 times. Then you pass the back of the bait or hook through, holding that loop, pulling that bottom side there. Don't pull the tag in. You really want to pull this in right here. until you get a loop. That's a little bigger loop knot than what I would normally tie, but it gets the job done, shows you what I'm talking about. So the great thing about the drift fry is there's actually a little hole right here in the front of the nose to kind of let you know exactly where to go. See, you can actually see it goes straight up in there. Now you're going to want to just kind of, you know, eyeball it up. Good thing about these baits is they're hollow. So you're going to come out right in that seam. And then you're just going to shove that bait all the way to the nose. Pull it out, stretch it out, get it nice and straight. And voila, there you have it. You've got your drift fry rigged. Now, the super fish roller, one of the things you're going to do to get the most action out of it, you can see it's got some spots where you can go into the head. Now, the farther back you go, the more roll action this bait's going to have. And then you can see it's got it down the back where you're going to come out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come right in that middle hole, push in. We're going to come straight back now. We're straight in. It's going to come out to about that hole right there. So let me get a good. We'll rig it nice and straight, and these things are tough as nails. We'll come right out that back, and then you're going to shove it right up on there. There we go. Now I know that looks a little funny with it down, but it's really the same concept as that lip. Last but not least, the Damiki Armor Shad. We've caught a ton of fish on this 5-inch bait. Everybody goes to the 3-inch, but I'm telling you, the 5-inch, it is great. Now, something to get a little bit of roll out of this. You're not going to get a lot of roll out of it, but you can actually go in a little high in this head too. Now, the great thing about it is it's more like a traditional soft plastic jerk bait. It's got the hollow belly, so you can come right out, shove that up on there. Then you just roll it down, come straight out that slot in the back, and there you go. You are ready to go fishing. All right, geeks, so something that I love is my Boat Effects mounts. They've got the graph locks on them, and they are incredible. Something that you should check into, because hey, right now we're out there, we're fishing, it's tournament season, we're traveling, and you want to keep those big, expensive, very important graphs very safe. Now, I do want to tell you also, they also have upgraded to aluminum. That's right, they're super light, very durable, new steps. And let me tell you, getting on and off a boat with those steps is a heck of a lot easier. Hey, discount code in the description. Go check out Boat Effects. You will not be sorry. Now, geeks, listen, I am not sponsored by this company, okay? I'm not sponsored by them. I do not know them, but this is something that I have been using, especially on baits like this that are still lead. And this is called Jar Jelly, so it's got a scent, but this is the forward-facing sonar enhanced Jar Jelly. It comes in a ton of different colors. Now, it is a gel. You do have to kind of get your fingers dirty, but I have used them all. This is by far the best. Now, all that being said, there will be links in the description for all this, because now we're going to talk about rod, reel, and line. Make sure you go to Tackle Warehouse, check it out, scan this code, or follow the link in the description. Doesn't cost you a dime, but it does really help the channel. So bookmark that, and anytime you go to make a purchase from Tackle Warehouse, use that link. It just helps us out. So the rod that we're going to use for this bait, I really cannot say enough for. This is the Fitzgerald Stunner HD. This is a JDM rod. I mean, built incredibly well. It is beautiful, carbon fiber. This thing for what it's priced. I don't want to tell you because I can't remember. I know I told you in another video. Make sure you go check it out in the links. But you're not going to get a JDM style rod this cheap. And this thing is not cheap. Let me tell you, it's not made cheap, that is. This thing is, again, incredible. This is a 7'3" medium heavy. And we're using the bigger baits. I want a little more backbone. It's got a fast action to it. And it's just a beautiful rod, great grips. Right back here, there's no padding back here because you can feel everything. This rod is amazing. Now we've got that coupled with one of my favorite spinning reels. This is the Team Lose Custom Pro. Now they've upgraded it. I'll leave links in the description for that too. But this is an extremely well built little spinning reel. And of course, the pollen's in the air. It's on the lake. I love my pink canine braid as my main line. 10 or 20 pound test. Trust me, the 20 pound test has an incredibly small diameter. Best casting braid on the market. 8 pound Pro 100, 100% fluorocarbon, and you can get a 10% off discount right here. I'm telling you, best casting braid. If you're a braid guy, go pick up some of their braid. They have flipping braid that is made specifically to be a little rougher for grass. Then they make another sort of standard braid. Like, I don't know a lot about braid. I'm a fluorocarbon guy. I use it mostly for this, but I'm telling you, that is the best casting braid I've ever used. So now, one of the things that I don't want you geeks out there to think is that you have to have forward-facing sonar to do this. One of the things that you can do is actually go down the bank. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Throw it up there to the bank, give it a little lift, and then just start shaking it and let it pendulum back. I can't tell you how many fish well before forward-facing sonar was thought about that I caught doing this. And with these bigger baits, it makes it even better because they're super subtle. If you're seeing shad out there at a certain depth level and all you've got is maybe 2D or even, down and side imaging, you can do what I used to do. Throw that bait out there, count it down, and then just start shaking it and working it back. Eventually, you'll get that drop speed right. You'll get used to that, and you won't believe how many bass you'll catch. Now, you'll have to fan cast out a little bit, but, that's fishing. That's how we've all done it in the past. Now, with forward-facing sonar, you'll be a little more exact, and that's sort of the key to forward-facing sonar. You might catch one or two more bass, but overall, when you're using this, it just basically cuts down on that fan cast situation, so you're casting directly to the fish, and they'll let you know whether they want it or whether they don't. But the big key is shaking it. During the post spawn and even during the shad spawn, you're going to shake this pretty violently. But as I always say, it's really about what the fish want, so change that up. Sometimes they're going to want it just pendulum back. Sometimes they're going to want a little shake. Sometimes they're going to want a lot. Now, if you're using forward-facing sonar, make sure it's almost always that you're going to have to play cat and mouse with that bass. And what I mean by that is you're going to speed up as they come, but you want to try and keep it right on their nose. So don't go too fast, don't go too slow. You want to keep it right on their nose. So as they come, you go. And you'll speed up, and a lot of times you'll get to that perfect speed, and that's when they're going to eat it. Now, one thing that I almost forgot, make sure that when you cast to the bank, when you're using this to contour bank or pond bottom or anything, when you throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, lift up, start shaking. Now, if you are reeling too fast, you'll never touch the bottom. You do want to touch the bottom occasionally. And if you're reeling too slow, you're just constantly on the bottom. So change up how quickly you're reeling. The post spawn, though, a lot of times the shad are going to be moved back up in these creeks. And that's what you're going to key on, because these bass are going to key on those shad. Now, when those female bass, those Sometimes the largemouth, a lot of times the smallmouth, when they first move off the beds, they're going to move right out in front of it, a lot of times over the creek channel, and they're just going to be hanging out there waiting for something to swim by them. They're not going to be super active because they just come off the bed. But if a bait comes by that they want to eat, and especially subtle, they don't like a lot of sound, a lot of vibration, so something like this, a nice big bait, that's like a steak to them that just was stupid enough to swim by their big face holes, and they're going to swallow it. Now, as far as hook sets go, I mean, it's a spinning rod. 90% of the time I'm coming straight up, maybe a little bit of a 45-degree angle, but once you get that hook set, get that rod tip down, it's like I said, those smallmouth especially, which is what we're fishing for right now, and those largemouth love to come straight up and jump. So don't let them throw these baits, which when you're fishing these bigger baits, especially those 6.5-inch fish rollers, it's pretty easy for them to throw that much plastic because it's just, you know, it's floppy, man. It just flops around and wrenches that thing loose. Other than that, you know, I recommend not boat hopping a big bass. Get down there, get him on your thumb or get your net, put him in the boat. So you want to check out something else that's great in the post spawn, great for the shad spawn. Well, Dirty Jigs and Nichols come out with the Dirty Blade, and I've got a video on that you should go check out right now. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you geeks ring that bell so you get the notifications when these videos come out. And as always, you geeks rock.